Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market update for Chainlink, which over the last few days has performed quite well from these lows. Chainlink is up around 27%, so a fairly sizable rally that's also taken us back above these highs from back here in January. So we're seeing a fairly bullish move, but that being said, I think it's important to remain grounded and level-headed here, because when I zoom out here for Chainlink, it is still just consolidating within this general range with the support and the range lows at $5.30. And then the resistance at the range highs around $9.50. And until we see a breakout from this range, I really just can't assume anything other than that we're just trending sideways here and we're consolidating, potentially some long-term accumulation going on. So even though we're seeing a fairly decent rally off these lows, I can't get too much excited on Chainlink until we have a breakout above the resistance at the range highs around $9.50. And the reason is, as long as we remain below that level, it is going to be resistance, and we could very much have a similar move to essentially the last 3 attempts where we have a pretty sizable rally coming up into that level but ultimately just rejecting. And I don't want to get excited because we could have a similar scenario playing out where yes, we might see a continuation of this rally, and actually from that point we would see a rally up around 50%. But if that's the case, similar to the last 3 previous attempts, we could just see it come back down to the middle of the range and just really look like it's continuing to consolidate. And if I just take a bar pattern here, taking for example the first move and overlaying that to where we are today, you could see how it could very well just repeat the same process. And this is sort of the caution I have, this is sort of the risk, where I don't want to get too excited yet because we haven't seen that breakout. We're still in this general range, we're still consolidating. But that being said, I do expect us to break out above the range at some point or another. And when we do see that breakout, again above $9.50 approximately, that will be when I really start to get excited. That'll be when I really start to get bullish here. And the reason is because, again, that has been the resistance on the last 3 attempts. We've seen that have very strong resistance over the last several months, going all the way back here to May of 2022. So this is a very important and defined range. And if we do get a breakout above the range, then I think we could very quickly have that volatility to return. I think we could very quickly reach some of those upside targets. For example, zooming out here, I think as soon as Chainlink is able to break out from this range, I think we could get up to this level right around $13. That was the support on the last low in the summer of 2021, and also the last zone of support before this last capitulation. And then from there, we could even target the highs from August of 2020, right around $20. That was also support throughout the bull run. So these upside targets are definitely reasonable if we do have that breakout again above the range. And for example, as just an illustration, what we could be potentially expecting in the next few weeks or even the next few months is maybe we do have that move up, maybe on the first attempt it does reject, but as soon as Chainlink is able to break out from this zone, then I think we could see that really kick off up into this rally towards that $13 zone, and then zooming out even further from there, if we can reclaim that, that's when I would look to the $20 zone. But the risk, of course, would just be if that instead of we getting that breakout, we just have a similar move to the last 3 previous attempts where we come back down, we're not done consolidating, and maybe we just have that pattern playing out, say, later on in 2023, and eventually whenever we do get that breakout, whether it is in the next few weeks, whether it is towards the end of this year or the middle of the year, when we get this point where we do start to see the closing prices above $9.50, we see that flip into support, that's when I get really, really bullish for these targets again around $13 and then up to $20 here. But again, we are still below that level. It is resistance until proven otherwise. So I can't be targeting those levels yet because we still have to deal with this level again around $9.50. If we do have rejection, we could look to accumulate some more at the middle of the range. If we have a move all the way back down to the range lows, that could be another area to accumulate. In general, I do think that all of this consolidation is a range of accumulation, and that's personally how I'm going to be playing this, but my expectations are low. I'm not really expecting that breakout immediately, and I know that this is just going to be a longer term position for the next few months because of course we're still below that resistance, we're still trending sideways, and we could very well continue that process into the next few months where maybe we don't get that breakout later on until this year. So for the Link Bitcoin ratio, I think this is far more interesting to look at because it's not just been going sideways for the better part of 10 months. We can actually look at something on this chart. And the fact is we have been in this longer term downtrend since the peak back in August of 2020 during that DeFi summer. And you can see right here, if I were to just draw some general downward sloping trend line, we've had the lower highs form off this trend line for the last 2.5 years now. So it's been a fairly consistent downtrend, and really what I'm going to be watching out for is going to be a reversal of this longer term downtrend. I do think that at some point Chainlink will start to outperform Bitcoin again, so I'm just looking for the signs of a reversal. And in the short term, we do have a few signs, the first being a break above the trend line back here in November. Of course, we got rejected back down under it, but we're starting to see more and more retests here where we might start to have that confirmed move where it's sustainable. We start to have more and more weekly closes above this downward sloping resistance. And if we can get that, that will be the first major sign. Another thing that we're seeing on the short term is this level from the lows back here in July of 2022, right around $28,000. That has flipped back into support, and that's set up the potential for maybe a higher low where we're starting to have support step in at a higher valuation than the lows from back here in May. So I just want to see this continue, where maybe we start to form this new uptrend. And looking out into the next few months, what I really want to see is a higher high coming back above this level from November, right around 45,000 Satoshis. So if we can bounce off this level, start to have a reversal, come back above that level, that's when I really start to look at a prolonged period of outperformance by Chainlink, where we would look to a new uptrend forming as opposed to this dominant downtrend. And when I zoom out here, looking back to Chainlink's previous history, it would be something like this, where we just have that same structure of, again, the higher lows and the higher highs just carrying the momentum up, with Chainlink outperforming Bitcoin in a potential bull run, and we start to see that risk working in its favor, which would very well kick us back up to some of these upside targets again at $13, $20, or even the all-time highs if we do have that bull run really start to kick off. So I hope you guys enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I'm fairly active over there with crypto content. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.